Okay, now we're continuing on with some of the Q&A problems that were from the electronic homework. Number 2, suppose you are 5 feet 3 inches tall. Give your height in meters and centimeters. For example, if you were 9 feet 2 inches tall, that would be 2.8 meters equals 2 meters and 80 centimeters. So first I wrote down the 5 feet 3 inches and converted that to 63 inches, just so it's easier to work with. And to do that, you can just kind of do that one in your head. The 5 times 12 would give you 60 plus the extra 3 inches. And so I write 63 inches. I put my given info over 1, then multiply by a unit fraction. That would be an equivalency. So if you don't have something on a chart or know it off the hand like this one, you can just look up what the conversion factor is. So 1 meter, that's what I'm trying to get to, so that'll go on top. And then 39.3701 inches goes in the denominator, because I do want to make sure that these will cancel out. Then I go ahead and just multiply across the top, 63 times 1 meter. And on the bottom, I have the 39.3701. And just go ahead and calculate that out. So for that, I get 1.60019, so on and so forth, meters. So if I look at this value here, the 0.6, I'm just going to stop there and say, or actually the hundredths, the 60 centimeters. That's what I want. So it would be 1 meter and 60 centimeters for my answer. And just to be clear, I have some rounding issues there because I'm using a truncated version of the conversion. It would stretch out more, but that's fine for our purposes here. Another method you could do is do a proportion, if you like that. So I would take my conversion here, the information I have, 9 feet 2 inches would come out to be 110 inches over 2.8 meters. And I could do it as a proportion instead of using unit analysis. Generally, we like unit analysis when we have a lot of things going on, but this one might work better for you. Just an alternate. And then the 63 inches. This one, we want to, when we do proportion, we want to make sure we have the units on the same level. So if I have inches in numerator, I want to keep them there. Because I'm working over an equal sign, it's a different process than if I'm multiplying. And then I would have the X would be my meters that I'm trying to get to. And then I could cross multiply. So we do cross product over an equal sign. We never do that over multiplication. We reduce or simplify before we multiply. It's a different thing. So this one, I would actually use the cross product method. And I would do 110x equals the 2.8 times the 63. Get 176.4 and divide by 110. And I would get about the same answer, 1.6036. It's a little bit higher, but in essence, it would be the same. Now moving on to number 3, Carolyn is building a pen for her dog. The perimeter of the pen is 78 feet. The fencing material is only sold by the yard. So this is one where you do definitely have to round. Some others might be like that or not. It costs $8.45 per yard. what is the cost of the material before taxes? So if we have our 78 feet for our perimeter, we want to convert that to yards. So we take our given information, put it over 1. And then we want to have feet in the corner. So in this case, we're trying to reduce, so we are making sure we eliminate those units. So when we're using unit fractions, unit analysis, we're going to multiply, and we want to make sure our units are on the other thing. If I have feet, my original feet in the numerator, I want the feet in the denominator so they'll cancel out. And then I want to go to yards. So there are 3 feet per 1 yard. Notice I put the units down first, then I fill in the numbers. And then I just double check that those actually reduce out. And then I can simplify ahead of time if I want, or I can just kind of multiply across the top like I've done before, multiply across the bottom. 78 over 3 gives me 26. So that would be 26 yards. Now, if that came out to a decimal, like say it was 26.1, I would need to just still go up to the next highest yard. Then I want to take that and multiply by the cost per yard. And I get $219.70 is the total cost pre-tax. Okay, so on this next one we did do in class. So I have that laid out here. Number 4, Deja is making a quilt. She needs 1,379 square inches of green fabric, 1,349 of gray, and we talked about square yards to have that conversion happen correctly. So just want to be clear, the conversion for that is we would have 1 square yard would equal 9 square feet. Before you get to that one, you might actually need 1 square foot equals 144 square inches. So those are the two I used here. So just want to make sure, because I did switch something up by accident there. So the square feet to square inches is right here. Square yards to square feet is right there. So how we laid it out was our given information. I'm not going to rewrite this, but just so you can see it there, or put it over 1, and then start by writing your square inches in and your square feet in, because we know those, we want those to cancel. Then I fill in the numbers accordingly. I look up here at my equivalency, and then I did the same for square yards to square feet, and then crunch the numbers. So I will do the gray here as well. You can kind of do it along with, I think a lot of you did it in class already. 1,349, and that's going to be square inches, and that's over 1. And then we want to have our square inches on the bottom and our square feet on the top. So we're going to have 1 square foot per 144 square inches, because remember we have, if we're talking about this is 1 foot, it's really 12 inches. So when I'm talking about square units, I would have 12 by 12 equals the 144 because it's an area is length times width. So just a little aside there on why that is. And then it follows suit for the yards too. So now I filled in multiply by 1 square yard over 9 square feet. And then just multiply across the tops, across the bottoms, and crunch those numbers, and you'll get 1.04089, which is very close to the other one. And we just want to then round up to the nearest yard because that's how it's sold, the nearest quarter yard. And then to get our total overall, we would just add our 1.25, 1.25, and we would get 1.5. So we need a yard or 1.5 square yards total. And you would just enter that into your My Open Math, that last bit. Number 5, Jean's bedroom is 13 feet by 14 feet. She has chosen a carpet which costs $29.85 per square yard. This includes installation. Okay, so we have area equals length times width. So we're going to have the area of that will be 13 times 14. So go ahead and just calculate that out along with me. I get 182 for my square feet. Then I have to convert that to square yards because that's how it's sold. So I have the 182 square feet over 1 times, put your bar, square feet in the bottom because I want them to cancel. So I'm using unit analysis, not proportion. And then in the top, it would be square yards. And then we have 1 square yard for 9 square feet. So remember, a square we would have if it's 3 feet by 3 feet, which would be the 1 yard equals 3 feet. It would be 9 square feet. So then I go ahead and cross out the units I no longer want. And then I get 182 over 9, 20.222, so on and so forth. And that is square yards. Now in this one, it doesn't say really how to round, if you should round down or round up. I'm going to say, well, let's round to the nearest yard. I think this one has to go by that because even though typically you would round down, in this case, you got to make sure you have enough. So you want to go up and get the amount. Now, some in My Open Math, you have to round up. Other ones, you leave it as is and it just, kind of prorates it. So you will have to check and see how it works out, or what the instructions say. So this is going to be, total cost. So I'm going to round to 21 times the 29.85. I wasn't given numbers, electronic homework numbers with these to have specific problems, so I'm not sure exactly which one this matches up with. But that would be your total cost. All right, so I hope that helps and you're getting more used to the unit analysis overall. Have a great day.